Hey, good Wednesday morning, my friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here, and I think I've got the weather all figured out. I probably shouldn't say that because it's April and Mother Nature is probably listening in. We do have one more rain/snow. Some of the data shows that you might be surprised at how much snow you get in Flint and Lansing and Saginaw and even Ann Arbor and Detroit. I think it's going to be warm enough that we keep it to 1 or 2 inches. So I'll show you that. Also stubbornly chilly cool into April 21st to 23rd or so. I'll show you that. So let's get on to it. And yes, hey, we got a lot of folks here. We got the alert system going. Good morning to HS. Hey, Big D, Daryl Dinan, one of my favorite TV engineers ever. I'm going to put you top 3. You might be 1, you might be 2, you might be 3. I'm just going to go top 3 if that's all right for right now. Good morning, Kevin Nag. Good morning, good morning, Autumn, Mrs. Pink. And David Feinblum, finally caught you live. Yeah, I'm going to be talking more about this, but basically the best thing to do, load the MLive app. Now, I learned yesterday that there are imposter apps that try to charge $9.99 for you to download it. That's because MLive is a news behemoth. 7th most trafficked local state news site in the country, so other scammers like to tag on. But the MLive app, the true MLive app with the MLive logo, is free. Weather information, the weather lives are free on YouTube, and severe weather information is free also. So let's get on into it. And yeah, still rather disgusting weather, if you will. Hey, good morning, everyone. Daryl Dinan saying number 3 is okay. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being number 3. And you know, hey, Big D, you know how many TV engineers I've worked with over 25, 30 years? Hundreds. So 3 is really good. All right, so the stuff that's showing up on radar right now, I'm not seeing it on the surface observation. So a lot of that is aloft, but we will have precipitation forming today. We go to the high resolution rapid refresh model. See, aren't you lucky? I pick out the right models for you. You don't have to do anything in the morning. Just drink your coffee and let your friends know that this is the weather discussion that you like. So here's that high resolution rapid refresh showing that precipitation that's showing on the radar now kind of fades in the north. So Traverse City, you're not going to have much going on today, and Houghton Lake and Cadillac, but eventually 5 o'clock, 6, 7, 8 o'clock tonight, we'll see rain and snow developing in the southwest part of the state. The snow is really going to have a tough time because it's 33 degrees or more. Now, this is the middle of the night. This is midnight tonight. So then I go to the next model that carries us out a little bit farther. It's pretty good. Usually it's my go-to model in the next 24 hours for a snowstorm, and it's actually pretty aggressive. This is 7 tomorrow morning, and it's saying we'll have wet snow. I still think it's probably a mix. Wet snow, Bay City, Saginaw, Flint, Oakland County, Lansing, maybe Jackson, Grand Rapids. You know, light, and the roads are warm. Now, this is 9 and 10 and 11. But April can do some weird things. Bill Bechamp, when will spring be here? I'm going to say April 22nd. Put it on the calendar. Someone wants Kalamazoo to have all the snow. So we're into the afternoon tomorrow, still rain and snow. That sounds pretty difficult for me unless it was a really cold pocket. But this, again, this model is pretty good. This is 8 tomorrow night, and then it fades away. So what we get out of this is that some rain will be developing tonight and snow and continuing into tomorrow in the southern half of the state before coming to an end. All right, so the best snowfall forecast I can pick out for you is the average of the models, and it shows a 1, 2, even 3-inch snow. Now here's a caveat. Here's the asterisk on that. What we show you a lot of times is the snowfall, okay? And the model says this is a snow falling on the ground. It doesn't necessarily mean that's what sticks. So I like this one because it's compromised. The model that I like shows 4 or 5 inches. And again, I think that's misleading because I think half of that melts. But certainly in some higher elevations in Oakland County and Genesee County, toward Owasso, you might have 1 or 2 inches transient snow on the grass. As soon as it lets up and we get into the heat of the day, even if it's only 37, 38, it melts because it's already a warm type of snow. So there you see it. Let's call it 1 to 2 inches. All right. Now let's go forward. Okay. So what I do here is I show you the upper air, 15,000 feet up, and the deviation from normal. So when you see the blues, greens, purples, it's an upper air that's colder than normal. Translates to colder than normal air here at the ground. And when you see the oranges and reds, it's an upper air that's warmer than normal, and translates to warmer than normal. What you're going to see is storm systems coming out of Western Canada and dropping down in the Great Lakes. A very classic, disappointing Michigan pattern. Very classic for the Great Lakes and the Northeast to have weather in April when you want it to be spring. So here's the storm system's actually going to drop into the southeast over the weekend. We warm up over the weekend, and then the next disturbance. And one thing to note is that these disturbances do create severe thunderstorms, severe weather, because I'm showing you Monday, and that those tightly packed black lines, that's the upper airflow. That's a strong wind. That's the engine of severe weather, but you have to be in the right, or a better way for me to put it, the wrong placement of that jet core. And right now it appears as though Michigan will not be in the severe weather part of it. It would be to our south, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. And this is something we watch as we go over the next couple weeks to a month if those start to shift forward. So what you see is after a mild weekend, we get cooler Monday and Tuesday. And then what you see is another storm system dropping in and keeping us cool for the end of the week. And then we finally see the idea that ridging builds in the middle part of the country as we go to, starting about, someone asked, when does spring start? Let's call it, that's April 21st right there. And then if we got into something like this for a week or two, we would be in store for a lot of 60s and 70s, I would say, as we go toward late April and May. Still, we always have ups and downs here in Michigan. All right, now let's look at the surface weather. So there's our system for tonight, tomorrow, rain mixed with wet snow, and it ends tomorrow afternoon, and then Friday leaves us dry. What I see off of this is a northeast wind. That's a chilly wind. Not a ferocious northeast wind, but chilly. And then Saturday, what I see is not much wind at all, sunshine, and that's a really comfortable pattern. Now, Sunday, the rain has backed off. This is Sunday evening, so we probably don't get showers in lower Michigan until Sunday night, and that's Sunday night right there on a south wind. the cold front comes through, and any thunderstorm activity right there on Monday is Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. North wind behind it, so you're going to see the reflection of cold. This model wants to say we could even have snow showers. Would not disagree. Middle of next week, a spurt here or there. And then the next storm system, end of the week, and behind it again a northerly wind once again. So let's look at temperatures. We're getting there. We are getting there. It is always slow in April. And you know what? Stacy Nag, when should I plant grass seed in Genesee County? You could plant that now. Grass seed will wait for a couple of weeks until the soil warms up. It may be warm enough. I would plant it now. I would lead with the grass seed, because if you wait, it can turn too hot. So now you have the opportunity to water it and get it moistened and kind of pre-germinated, so to speak. All right. So, and folks, do bear in mind that, one thing we have in Michigan is our plants, our agriculture, our fruits, our apples, cherries, peaches, blueberries, strawberries, all like a different weather than what we like for spring. They like it to stay a little bit cool because they don't want to come out of their shell real quickly. Great pattern for this. No major advancement on the fruit buds while you sit at home disgusted with Michigan's weather. But not terrible. Not terrible. I'm trying to look at it glass half full. All right? Yeah, Stacy Nag, hit that seed with gentle moisture for the next couple weeks. I always recommend, when it's not super hot and you can keep it damp, a couple of times a day for 10 or 15 minutes. Not a super soaker. Just keep that seed moist. 10 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and it'll stay moist overnight. So today we're cool. Not as cold as yesterday, 40s. Tomorrow we're cool and chilly in the area where the rain and snow is falling. So it's bone chiller tomorrow. And then Friday, a little bit better as we creep toward 50 in a lot of places, other places upper 40s. Saturday, we add on another 5, and by afternoon, light wind, sunshine, mid-50s. We can handle that to clean up the big yard mess, especially in the north. Sunday, around 60. Monday, the cold front is backed off on speed about 6 hours, so we could make it into the mid to upper 60s. And then the cold front reflects Tuesday and Wednesday being cooler before we kind of come back to 50s and 60s. So I hate to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to sound like a broken record. Patience, my friends. Patience. Good news is for our friends that have been devastated by an ice storm in northern lower Michigan and the UP is that, middle of the road type weather is okay since we don't have any storminess on the way. So our thoughts go out to everybody. It's a pain. Boy, you want to find an inconvenience in life, try to go 3 weeks or a month without electricity and think about how they had to do it way back when. So, also starts to speak to the fact that, should we all have backup home generators? Depends on your situation, but it certainly is not a bad thought in this changing climate of what appears to be occasionally stronger storms. I'll get off my soapbox now. Hopefully you have a great Wednesday. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Thanks for joining me. Let's see if we got any more questions. Millinor20 loves it. All right, cool. Thank you very much. Have yourselves a great Wednesday, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye.